through the survey to the whole community. So it's great that we can record the session and people can access it afterwards. And we'll do our best to get through them in the time that we have. So just opening with the question, the very first question is, how can psychometric testing enhance the recruitment process? And what are the limitations in using them? So basically the pros and cons, is that an initial question? Anybody want to take that one?
For ourselves, so for myself, I have worked, like I said, in the private and the public sector. So from yourselves, you would know the use of psychometrics from a student perspective. So sometimes that is used for the students understanding how to prepare for an interview. So that would be, you know, their strengths and their development areas, as opposed to weaknesses. And then also it would be to try and help students to prepare for what, or understand what career path might suit their strengths. So that's the way you guys are probably using it with your graduates and your students. So then from an employer perspective, we would look at how we would use them for identifying fit. Cultural fit, organizational fit, skills fit for the role, etc. So I worked across telecoms, Ericsson, banking, Ulster Bank, and more recently Irish Distillers. And we would have used psychometrics quite differently across the 3 different industries, because obviously the need of the candidate and the profile of the candidate is very different. So psychometrics is a very powerful tool if used correctly. So in the right situation, at the right phase of the attraction and selection process, or then the onboarding, it can inform on onboarding as well. So for us, we did a 10-year, the reason I suppose I'm here is because I had a coffee with Michael a few weeks ago, and I was letting him know that as part of my kind of handover with Irish Distillers, I did a research piece looking at 10 years of psychometrics and what that told us about millennials, centennials pre-COVID, during COVID and post-COVID, and how their profiles changed. In Irish Distillers, we would have used DISC and a subset of that called PPA, which is personality profiling, because it was a marketing role. So you're not too worried about what degree the people have, is more so what is their aptitude and attitude. So that is typically around personality. So what we would have used it for, we would have used it for, you can use psychometrics, as you would know, for sifting if it's high volume, or for selecting. We would have used in Irish Distillers for selecting. So they would have applied, we would have met them at round 1, then we would have done the psychometric, and that would have informed our interview questions at round 2. Because we knew at that point the strengths of the people, but we wanted to probe their weaknesses, actually, is how we use them around personality profiling. And actually, it didn't stop then with getting the right fit of candidate. So for us, when we looked at the research, we defined, well, what did psychometrics help us with over the last 10 years? And that was fit, yes, but if you have the right fit of person, then you have higher performance and engagement levels. We were sending people abroad to cities like Lagos, so you actually mitigate against risk by having the right people in the right places, because, you know, not everybody is a fit for Lagos and the culture that you have to deal with there. And then we would have found that it also helped with onboarding. So if we know the type of people and the profile of people that we are hiring, then we know how to actually adapt our training each year to that. So they're the sure, so there's some of the ways that we would have used them, and the way a lot of companies would use them if used correctly. But then the limitations are, you know, if you're not using the right psychometric test or assessment at the right phase of your attraction, recruitment and selection, then you're not getting the best results. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you, Sinead. And just, I suppose, a question now for Claire, and you mentioned it, Sinead,